So, I saw Solo. Let's do this. Number 1, story bad. I'm gonna try to do a quick flyover of things that didn't make sense or felt dumb and just get this out of the way. Spoiler warning for everything. If I was the kind of alien where if sunlight hit me, it would burn my skin off, I don't think I would put my slime pool in a room with a lot of fragile glass windows and then just paint over the windows. I think I would put my slime pool room in some kind of interior room with no windows, or perhaps if it did have windows, I would reinforce them with something that couldn't be broken if a disgruntled person threw a rock through one, especially if I had a lot of enemies who would be safer if I was dead and whom I interrogate in the slime pool room. It literally makes no sense how Han got away from the guards in the spaceport. Like the circumstances of them grabbing only Qi'ra, who was like an inch away from Han, and then the door closing between them, but somehow not hitting either of them, and Han standing there pounding on the gate and screaming, and the gate agent being like, somebody just got through the gate, and the guards all run to the gate where they can see and hear Han. They can see him because the door is transparent for some reason, and Han continuing to loudly pound and scream on the gate, and the guards on both sides of the gate looking at Han and running directly toward Han, and then Han just kind of casually walking to the side, evading both sets of guards by putting on a hat. Also, his loyalty to Qi'ra is sweet, but I can't believe his goal 3 years after leaving is to get back to his home planet to find Qi'ra. Not like get out of the army and go out into space to find Qi'ra, go back to his home planet and find Qi'ra there. Why on earth would he think she would still be there after 3 years? She was getting hauled away and it kind of seemed like she was going to immediately be killed. She's either dead or she's moved on with her life. She is probably not hanging around in the spaceport. Were Tandy Newton and the little monkey alien exclusively added to reshoots? Because boy, it felt that way. I like how they both did nothing and died immediately. How thankless. The little alien guy was very starkly just some kind of Star Wars Rocket Raccoon, both in personality and physicality. The main difference being that Rocket Raccoon sometimes says funny jokes, and him being the comic relief and the jarring tone of his immediate death was so weird and bad. It was almost comical how Tandy and the alien died after talking at length about how this was their last big job before retirement, and then Woody Harrelson talks about how the next job is his last big job before retirement, just without any sense of irony. It's so weird to set up this new team of 3 characters and then kill 66% of them in the next scene. Like when it cut to their little makeshift graves, I laughed out loud because it felt like a comedy smash cut. Like, we're all a team, it's our last big job, smash cut to graves. I don't think Beckett would have even gotten their bodies, like maybe he could get the alien's body, but Tandy Newton exploded, so I would say the rock piles are purely symbolic. But why were they the approximate size and shape of their actual bodies then? And why this level of sentimentality from a man who's only out for himself and never mentions either of them again? I also think it's funny that Han and Chewie walk up right after the graves have been completed, because that must have taken some time. He built both of those rock piles, and then also snow fell on top of them, so they'd been there a while. Were Han and Chewie just waiting right over the ridge, waiting for him to be done so they didn't have to help? The Tandy Newton character, whose name is Val, she was actually even worse, because not only did she not add anything, she actively undermined Beckett's only character trait, which is that he didn't trust anybody. Val's lack of impact was even clumsily addressed, and then not resolved later in the movie. Beckett says not to trust anyone. Han, of course, immediately says, "You trusted Val," and then Beckett's just "I trust no one." But what? You just ignored what Han said. He said that you trusted Val, and you did. And that didn't at any point prove to be a mistake, so it's just a big gaping hole in his character development. I mean, maybe if Val had died in the act of betraying him, but it was actually the opposite. She killed herself because she saw the mission going south and she was trying to prevent all of the others from dying. It was an extremely selfless act, which proved her worthy of trust. So it's weird how Beckett just kind of breezes past that and it has no lasting impact on his character. He doesn't even stay sad for very long. I thought they were basically married. Why is Quinlan Voss's space yacht shaped like a tower? Like you would find on Earth? The reason things are shaped like towers on Earth is because you use less real estate. So like if you're in a city, you can just buy a little bit of land and put a lot of rooms on it, and they have nice views. If you're on a flying space yacht, you don't really need a lot of floors to have nice views. You could just fly in it forever, like you don't even need to park it anywhere. All the tower shape does is make it so that every floor has like limited square footage, which is not ideal if you want to entertain. Those Planet of the Apes looking girl Wookiees, I did not like those. No thank you. I like how much the final showdown with Voss and Qi'ra was just like the throne room scene in The Last Jedi. Like, Qi'ra is literally standing there with a sword about to kill Han. Voss is like, yes, you didn't see this coming, but I know Qi'ra. I see her mind. I see now as she turns her sword thing and kills her true enemy. My biggest laugh in the movie is when Kira's like, we're gonna have to get enough money to make a life for ourselves. And then it cuts away to this table that is full of heretofore unseen, giant, generic-looking earth diamonds. Just piles of big diamonds. They're like those paperweights you can get at the mall. You know, riches. I also like that Qi'ra is saying that to distract Han and like get him to go away and go get Beckett. And she's like, you catch up to him. I'm just gonna put these diamonds like in a bag, which will take me 20 minutes. I actually don't know why she left Han behind either. Like, she pinned it all on Beckett, so his name is clear. She still cares about him. I mean, it seems like the only reason she didn't wait for him is that she thinks his big flaw is he's too dumb and loyal and sweet. But like, she's in charge now, and I think those are pretty good traits in a trophy husband. He doesn't have to be involved in your business, Qi'ra. Just leave him on the ship. Or if Darth Maul asks, be like, yeah, it's my boyfriend. What of it? A great twist that would have totally explained this is if after she gets Han to leave, the Mandalorian armor that's standing in the corner of the room like on display suddenly moves and it's Boba Fett and he's been here the whole time and he and Qi'ra passionately kiss. Now that is how you set up a Boba Fett movie. I will admit that I was excited to see Darth Maul, but I think it's kind of because my eyes were just glazed over by that point in the movie and it was like a shot in the arm, like, oh, a thing happened. He did look a little uncanny valley with the voiceover thing. Like, I love Ray Park and I love Sam Witwer, but I think that one cannot have both. Enfys Nest takes the helmet off and it's like a big reveal, and it's treated so much like a reveal that I was like, is that like Woody Harrelson's daughter with Tandy Newton that we didn't know about? And then I was like, no, I guess the reveal is just that it's a child. And then I realized it was an adult woman with youthful features, and I was like, oh, I guess the twist is just that it's a girl. When is a fighter being revealed to be a girl going to stop being treated like an adequate twist? I mean, the fighter being a girl was a twist when Metroid did it in 1986. Is that really a thing we can play straight anymore? I mean, in this particular universe, it's not even that unusual for girls to fight. It seems pretty equal opportunity. I also thought it was lame that Han helps specifically a rebellion right here in the prequel movie. Like, I thought that was a growth moment for him in the original trilogy, but apparently it's just a thing that he's done before. Number 2, the characters. Okay, here's the thing. One of the first things everybody started asking me was like, how were the performances in the movie? Probably because Lucasfilm, aware that the production was troubled and that they were getting a lot of bad press, decided to throw Alden Ehrenreich. They decided to throw him under the bus and leak the news that he needed acting lessons, which, by the way, I would call unforgivably cruel. The thing is that asking me how the acting was in this movie is like asking me how the acting was when I've just seen a high school production of Seussical the Musical. Like, well, I couldn't really tell you. It's not really that kind of production, friend. I don't think there's a single actor in this that I haven't seen and liked in something else, so I know they all can act for what it's worth. Nobody did a bad job, but Alden Anglerfish didn't have a single thing to do, so how am I to know? Han Solo was physically present in practically every scene, but he spent the whole time standing around, looking like he didn't understand what was going on and grinning like an idiot. And he sounds so much like Christian Slater, but I think that's just the guy's voice. Han Solo's character development happens in the original trilogy. Like, he's this tough guy who doesn't have very good morals and likes to act like he's only out for himself, but he secretly has a heart of gold, and he learns to care about his friends and the rebellion and become like a hero. So I figured Han in a prequel could go one of two ways. Wait for that car alarm. How is the car alarm getting closer? Like, are they actively stealing it right now? Well, if they're stealing it, they'll be on their way soon. So that's good news.